Hello, BookTube. And welcome to Friday Reads. I thought we could look at some more books, just concentrate on books for a while. Life outside of books is stressful enough. I've got a bunch of books here that are on my immediate docket that I want to show you. I'm not sure that we've seen any of them on this channel before. We'll start off with two reprints. Two lovely reprints from W.W. Norton that I didn't see coming, but I'm perfectly happy to revisit this author. This is Jean Rhys. And these are not her White Sargasso Sea, the book that most people know her for. Instead, these are two other novels. The first one is After Leaving Mr. Mackenzie, and the other one is Good Morning Midnight. Two lovely matte finish trade paperbacks from W.W. Norton that are coming out soon. These are I think the date on them is March 17th, so they could be in bookstores now. But a perfect example of how when the publishing industry gives me an older work. Earlier today we saw The House of the Seven Gables. I'm perfectly happy to add that right away, to slot it right away into the reading. And then the next one is a murder mystery. I think this comes out in April, though, so too late for March Mystery Madness. Yeah, this comes out in early April. But I read one book in this series. I think it might have been the previous book. Let's see here. Yes, I read the previous book in this series and kind of liked it. This is from Minotaur Press. This comes out in early April. This is Paige Shelton's book, The Stolen Letter, which is a Scottish bookshop mystery, which is a series of cozy mysteries set in a small town in Scotland and centering around a bookstore that had largely passed me by until the previous volume was dealt in part with Loch Ness and with the Loch Ness monster, and that hooked me right in. But I came away from the book liking the setting enough and the characters enough to want to read another one. So this one comes out April 7th, same as this is April 7th, so right around the corner. And this is it's set in a cozy, picturesque bookshop. So what the pub sheet describes it as the ultimate setting for a cozy mystery series. Let's see here. In this book, bookseller Delaney Nichols' beloved cracked spine is threatened, and she has to do everything in her power to save it. That's the name of the bookstore. She's not having a physical ailment, which includes dealing with a woman who thinks she's Mary, Queen of Scots reincarnated. Heading back to work the day after she returns from her European honeymoon, Delaney is excited to get back to the cracked spine. But as she disembarks the bus and hurries towards the shop, she and another woman collide, sending a stack of books the woman is carrying to the ground. Delaney's hapless victim's name is Mary, and she and Delaney can't help but notice that they bear an uncanny resemblance to each other. According to Mary, they both also look like the long-beheaded Mary, Queen of Scots. Even stranger, Mary believes she is the reincarnation of the Scottish Queen. But peculiar as Delaney's doppelganger is, she doesn't have time to dwell on it. On her arrival at the bookshop, she learns the Edinburgh City Council wants to close the cracked spine, citing code violations, and she's determined to stop them. So there will be complications from there and a murder. But this, from what I could tell from the one book that I read, this is a very typical cozy mystery setting where the murder is almost incidental. The joy of these things is the puzzle solving and the people and the local characters and the setting, not the avenging angel bringing things to justice. So that's fine by me. I'm perfectly happy to play by cozy mystery rules. And now that I have a finished copy of it, I might squeak it in March for March Mystery Madness anyway, even though it's not coming out until April. This next one is from Saga Press. It's a great big work of translated science fiction. This is by Hao Jing Fang, and it's called Vagabonds, and it's translated by Ken Liu, who is a best-selling science fiction author in his own right. This is the debut novel from this author, the first Chinese woman to ever win the esteemed Hugo Award for her novelette Folding Beijing. This genre-bending novel is set on Earth in the wake of a second civil war, not between two factions in one nation, but two factions in one solar system, Mars and Earth. In an attempt to repair increasing tensions, the colonies of Mars send a group of young people to live on Earth and help reconcile humanity. But the group finds itself with no real home, no friends, and fractured allegiances as they struggle to find a sense of community and identity trapped between two worlds. This is a meditative novel about identity, innocence, and anomie, wrapped in a compelling and futuristic imagining of war and peace. Okay, well, it's never, in my opinion, a good thing for a description of a book to include the word anomie, but that's okay. I've seen books about it done well, so and it's a nice, big, ambitious thing. So Did I mention? The date is coming right up. These things are coming right up, so I'm just going to read them this weekend. Yeah, this is mid-April, so we're going to be getting more and more April books. I think this one is also an April book, this next one, but this is getting a lot of advance buzz, and I have wanted it. I have wanted a copy to read. Now I have one. This comes out. Yeah, this is early April, so we're gonna start to see April books, but I can't leave this behind until then. And this is by Francis Wade, and this is Square Haunting: 5 Writers in London Between the Wars. And this is an engrossing portrait of 5 women writers, including Virginia Woolf, who moved to London's Mecklenburgh Square in search of new freedom in their lives and work. Sorry for the odd lighting. The sun has decided to make an appearance. It's kind of strange. In the tumultuous era between the 2 world wars, Mecklenburgh Square, a hidden architectural gem in the heart of London, was a radical address. The square was home to students, activists, artists, and the debut author Francisca Wade chronicles in her exquisite new biography. It also included 5 remarkable women, both eminent and obscure, who came to the residence in the hopes of breaking boundaries. Both sweeping and intimate, this spellbinding book delves deep into the lives of 5 women who boldly challenged traditional notions of femininity. The modernist poet H.D., detective novelist Dorothy Sayers, classicist Jane Harrison, economic historian Eileen Power, and writer and publisher Virginia Woolf. Against the vividly rendered backdrop of the square, these women grappled with their expected roles in a society that left little room for creativity and ideas of women. I can't wait to read this. This is getting lots and lots of advance press. I would argue that the ease of that last line, a society that left little room for the creativity and ideas of women, I would argue that that's very pat and not an accurate reflection of what a lot of these women really encountered. The actual struggles are a little more nuanced and complicated than just a Bloomsbury version of #MeToo. And I'm hoping that the book deals with it. And certainly in advance, the word that I'm getting from people who are already dipping into this thing is that the book is incredible. So this comes out in early April, and I think it's going to get reviewed everywhere. It's already started to get reviewed everywhere. I think the look at that. That's Eileen Power lecturing in 1915. A lot of you will know her book. She had an absolute bestseller. Her book. A lot of these women did. Jane Harrison as well. In the rarefied precincts of the classics world, she had a couple of books that were on everybody's reading stand. So it's not just Dorothy Sayers who did really well. It's a great quintet to study, is what I'm saying. And then the last 2 books I want to show you are kids' books. I haven't even checked to see. I might not even have sheets to see when these come out. They're probably early April or late March. It's going to take 2 seconds to read them anyway. But as with poetry, so too with kids' picture books, I tend to slow way down when I'm reading them and just savor them, just drink them in. And this first one is illustrated by Adelina Lerius, and it is a children's picture book adaptation of Frances Hodgson Burnett's The Secret Garden. Where we have once upon a time, a walled garden bloomed under the summer skies in the north of England, but it was locked up and left alone, and it stayed all alone for many years until. And we have, this is just an illustrated version of this thing. I've read The Secret Garden a couple of times, and I've also read my share of illustrated versions of it in kids' books that adapted, but I'm always up for another one. And then this next one, the last book that we have for today, I don't think I have a sheet on it. No, I don't. Okay, but that's all right. It's got to be soon. And again, I wouldn't let it wait anyway, because this author has pleased me a couple of times already. This is Mo O'Hara. The illustrator is Andrew Joyner, and this is The Legend of King Arthuratops. They did Romeosaurus and Juliet Rex. The romance of Romeosaurus and Juliet Rex. This team is doing these kinds of books where they take classic stories and adapt them for dinosaurs. Once upon a time, 150 million years ago, in the misty swamps of Camelot, there lived 3 young dino squires training to be knights. I tried out Romeosaurus and Juliet Rex on the target audience, and it went over quite well. I imagine this will go over really well as well. And if it's anything like the last time when I was done with Romeosaurus and Juliet Rex, the kids that I was reading it to were more interested in me telling them all sorts of facts and fascinating details about the dinosaurs, about Tyrannosaurus Rex, than they were about Romeo and Juliet. They couldn't care less about Shakespeare. They wanted to hear about the dinosaurs. And I know quite a bit about Triceratopsians. So if the crowd goes that way this time, I am ready. So there we go. That is my Friday reads. We have The Legend of King Arthuratops. We have what looks like a lovely illustrated edition of The Secret Garden. I have Square Haunting, The Lives of 5 Women in Interwar London. We have Vagabonds, a big, ambitious science fiction novel from a female Chinese author. We have The Stolen Letter, the latest in the Scottish Bookshop mystery series, and 2 reprints by Jean Rhys, who is a novelist I know who has much bigger fans than me. I love White Sargasso Sea. I don't think I love it any more than most people do. I know this author has an enormous fan group of people that just are over the moon, and maybe these books, rereading them, will do it for me. I haven't read them since dorky old mass market paperbacks 50 years ago, so it's long since time. So that's it. That is your Friday reads for today. I hope it took your mind off things for at least a few minutes. And feel free to, I will leave my email address, of course. Feel free, if emailing me will also help you with stress or with distraction, feel free to do it. I'm here all day long. I'm at your disposal. So I'm going to wrap this up for now, but I'll see you soon. Thank you, BookTube.